Holidays can be a favorite time of year, but ever since we moved 100 miles north of Manhattan, we find the holidays are not just a ritual, but a winter sport. Each town has their thing, from Rhinebeck's Sinterklaas to Beacon's bicycle tree. Our friends Victor and Stephanie have a Christmas cookie party every year, carrying on a beautiful tradition of his mom. It takes all day and into the evening, and his family comes and goes throughout it, and so do we. Our friends Jamie and Tom have their traditions. They know Brian wanted to decorate a tree, so they invited us over on Saturday to decorate. When we arrived, we discovered not one, but 3 big trees throughout the house, cases of decorations, not to mention entire rooms to set up. Each tree has a theme, from the silver card tree to the family tree to, well, buffalo plaid. This wasn't a mere holiday sport. This was the Holiday Olympics. I'm Matt Zucker, and this is Cidiot, Learning to Live and Love Life in the Hudson Valley. Episode 10, The Holidays. In the city, the holidays have shopping, parties, shopping, lights, shopping, and if you can find it, music. Up here in the Hudson Valley, the lights come first. The second Thanksgiving's over, it's like a switch was turned on. I used to think some of it was a little tacky, but it's so dark on these winter nights, it's really grown on me. I also like the practical side. It's like one big community flashlight. The weather is bizarre, though. It's cold with some snow, then rains, then a day of sun, then rain again. Each year has been incredibly different. The river freezes at different points. Brian keeps threatening to go ice sailing on the Hudson. In our town Facebook group, every year like clockwork, a debate starts of the best farm to buy a Christmas tree. Ski season also starts, but we don't ski in the mountains or really further west into the Catskills, further northeast into Vermont, or further east into the Berkshires at Catamount. Winter hikes, though, seem to be a thing. There are parks and paths and a good way to get the dog outside. She goes stir-crazy in the winter, and I feel for her. You need heavier boots, which weigh you down, and it's true I'm often out there freezing and complaining and thinking of the movie Revenant. Baking and cooking take over, which won't surprise you. Brian sticks with his fantastic soup recipes, premiering his famous mushroom soup. Our buddy Devin, who's a local chef, has a mushroom farm, which he uses. Annabelle, who has the local bake shop downtown in Red Hook, goes all out with cakes, cookies, and thank you, Annabelle, many gluten-free. In addition to Christmas tree decorating, Jamie and Tom also taught us how to make jam, which we did from scratch, jarred it, and together we named it the Spicy Duchess. The anchors of the season, however, are the big traditional events with a bigger variety from town to town. Okay, the events. Tivoli and Red Hook both have their tree lightings and menorahs with choral music. Fortunately on separate nights, so we can attend both. On some level, I think the organizers realize they're part of the same township and do this on purpose to accommodate. But sometimes I feel like the only thing they agree on is sharing the schools and the interlibrary system. Beacon, further south, where the Dia Museum is, plays with the tradition, and instead of a tree of ornaments, they do a bicycle tree made of recycled bicycle parts. The city of Poughkeepsie goes big with a celebration of lights, a tree lighting, a parade, fireworks, a walkway over the Hudson Park. More intimate that we prefer is the city of Hudson's Winter Walk, which we've done twice. All along the main commercial thoroughfare of Warren Street, the stores stay open late at night, and you can hear different musical groups sing and bump into donkeys and other farm animals trotted out for the night. We love to stop into the stores where we know the owners and say hi. Since we moved up here, I haven't seen a lot of public Kwanzaa celebrations, but there was one in Hudson at the Hudson Opera House. Towns like Woodstock with local theaters usually mean there are productions of a Nutcracker or a Christmas Carol, but you can also see on Amtrak seats selling out for people taking the train down to the city to sing the bigger productions. Hanukkah is subtle up here, and a lot of towns have a menorah, and I have no idea what happens in the schools. Of course, the other thing about country living, at least for me, is I have more time to think, reflect, and dig into things and keep learning things I don't want to, like about Hanukkah. I already knew it was a fairly minor holiday, a festival of lights versus a real religious one, but our family does a big Hanukkah party every year and it's fun. So I shouldn't have read that New York Times piece about how the Maccabees were such fundamentalists. Which brings me to Sinterklaas. Sinterklaas is a holiday celebrated here quite seriously, brought over by the Dutch colonists. There's a send-off on the west side of the river near Kingston, and then a big parade in Rhinebeck, and a huge fundraiser that the whole community gets involved in. Sinterklaas is rooted in St. Nicholas, of course, but in the Dutch version, Santa has assistants who painted their faces black and carried a broom to spank the bad kids and scare them that they'd be taken back to Spain in his bag if they had been naughty. So if you're cringing at the blackface, so am I. There's a debate whether it's supposed to be soot from the chimney or if the assistant is a Moor from Spain. Either way, it creeps me out. Not to mention the scaring the kids part, which is a very different side to Christmas than the American tradition. The good thing about the updated celebration, however, is it makes it easier to overlook the history. It celebrates kids as sources of light, punctuated by Sinterklaas stars that you can buy to support the whole tradition. The bad thing, of course, is that it makes it easier to overlook history. Anyway, you can read more about it at CinterklaasHudsonValley.com. Anyway, enjoy the holidays, and thanks for listening. Cidiot Life is produced on Anchor and distributed on Anchor, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Pocket Cast, and another half dozen podcasting platforms. Please rate and review us in the Apple Store and support our sponsors. And everyone can visit Cidiot.com and follow me on Twitter, @MattZucker.